So lesson 24 talks about two more parts. Future passive participle, FPP. They also call it gerundive. And we've also learned about verb class 5. So what is a future passive participle? It is exactly like PPP, except implies command. What is a command? It means it is a suggestion. Do this. So it's similar to imperative. So far, when you think of FPPs, think of imperatives. Except imperatives, you're telling a command when? In the present, right? Do it now. But FPPs, you're telling a command in the future. So what is to be done in the future? Now let's just revise PPPs so we know what FPPs are, because we just said it's exactly like PPPs, except it's in the future. Root how to construct PPPs. Root plus ta or ita plus LRB. Example here. Okay, let's compare. PPP on the left side. Book was read by the boy. Pustakam, book, balena, by the boy. Pathitam. See how this m qualifies the book? You see that? So in other words, the PPPs, they always have to end according to the word they qualify. Therefore, book is read by the boy. Now let's look at FPPs. Book is to be read by the boy. Now notice the pinks, right? Book was read, book is to be read. So what's the first thing we can know about FPPs? How do you translate it into English? Is to be read, is to be gone, is to be remembered, is to be protected. Pustakam balena. So we have not changed these two sections. Book by the boy. Now look at this. We've got three options you can choose in FPPs. Pathaniyam, pathitavyam, patyam. So what's the first thing we can notice? FPPs always have three options. How to choose? Choose whichever one you feel comfortable with. I usually choose the tavyam. Now notice how I bolded it. Aniya, tavya, and ya. So what does that mean? You simply add any one of these three options and you have a FPP. The big lesson here is root plus aniya, root plus tavya, or root plus ya. And then you decline it according to the word that it points to. So the book by the boy is to be read. Pathaniyam. The book, any one of them is fine.
So there's no patishyam or patisyam.
No, it has to be strictly aniya, tavya, or ya. Those are the only three options that are pertinent to FPPs, nothing else. Rama was united with Sita. Ramaha Sitaya yuktaha. Remember this ta, this is the PPP, obviously. Rama is to be united with Sita. Same thing. Ramaha Sitaya. Again, you got aniya, tavya, ya. Yojaniyaha, yoktavyaha, yogyaha. Can someone tell me why is it this aha there and not like we had previously? Because it is qualifying Rama, right? So in other words, FPPs always end according to the word they qualify. The drink of nectar was drunken by me. Amrtasya peyaha. Peyaha is a drink. Maya, by me. Pitam. Pitaha, actually. Pitaha. Okay, because it's pointing to a masculine. The drink of nectar is to be drunk by me. Same thing. Amrtasya peyaha maya aniya tavya ya. Let's go into the theory. See, there's a command or a firm suggestion. Can be used like an imperative. If imperative is do it now, then FPP is do it in the future. That's the only difference. Remember it as it is to be, and then it is to be protected. It is to be attained. It should be obtained. It must be obtained. I usually just stick with it is to be obtained, okay? But you can also choose these other options if you were to translate. But stick with one. It is to be obtained. Or it will be obtained. It should be obtained. It must be obtained. It declines is the word it qualifies. We know that. In most cases, it will act like a verb. A little rule here. If you just say, it is to be protected, it is to be protected by me. Now, notice how you're not qualifying any nominative, right? You're not saying like Rama is to be protected by me, like Ramaha maya goptavyaha. Then you decline it as a neuter nominative single. It is to be protected by me. You see how there's no nominative? Because there's no nominative, then decline the FPP as a neuter nominative single. Recasting. Suppose you see in the book something like the king must lead the horse. Then you recast it. It just means to restructure it in a compatible format. The horse is to be led by the king. Okay, so you go from this into that. So remember how I said root plus aniya, tavya, oya? Yeah, and you just always decline it according to LRB 1, 2, 3. This is the good news. So how do you decline it? Always 1, 2, 3. It will never decline like nadi or pitr or matra. So either nara, pala, or sena. So the only difference is you just put a guna of the root. Okay, so if there's a vowel in the root, you just strengthen it to guna grade. That's the only difference. So you don't just say root plus aniya or tavya. You say root, strengthen, plus, and then the endings. For example, kr. Okay, what is the root? What is the guna of r, please?
Kra.
Ar. And therefore, instead of r, you say kar. Okay, kar. And then you add the endings. Kar aniya, kar tavya. Now, when it comes to ya, instead of doing the guna, you'd say vridhi. It's another important point. So if you want to use the ya version, then put the, kr. I can see here, vridhi is ar. Therefore, kar ya. And then you got karyaha, karyam, karya.
Rama is to do japa. Ramaha japam karaniya.
How would you decline karaniya? That's to point back to Rama.
Karaniyaha.
Excellent, karaniyaha. Okay, so Michael chose karaniyaha. He chose the first one. Michael, choose the second one, please.
Ramaha japam kartavyaha.
Excellent. And number 3, please, for us, Michael.
Rama japam karyaha.
Ramaha japam karyaha. Good. In all cases, Rama is to perform japa, Rama is to perform japa, Rama is to perform japa in all 3 cases. Sita japam karaniya. Homework is to choose. Which one do you like? Do you like karaniya? Do you like this tavya, or do you like this ya? I stick with tavya. I don't usually put ya because there's too many yas in Sanskrit. And then verb class 5 is very easy. Single, root plus no. That is it. No strengthening, no guna grade. Just take a root, attach no, and then decline it like me, she, or si, depends on the sandhi, or ti, right? Waha, taha, maha, ta, anti, or vanti, depends on the sandhi. If it's a dual or plural, then instead of adding a no, add a nu. Okay, so please repeat. No, nu. No, nu. No, nu. Up plus no. Up, no. No. Nu. 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 Totally predictable. Okay, so this whole thing is no, and this thing is nu. Okay, let's go through this. Up, common word, is attain. I attain up, no, me. Up, no, me. Up, no, she. Up, no, ti. Do the second column, Manish.
Apnuvaha. Apnuthaha. Apnutaha.
Carry on.
Apnumaha. Apnutha. Apnuvanti.
Apnuvanti. Okay. Another class 5 with a little irregularity. And why is it irregular? Because you take the shuru, and then it becomes shur. So how does shuru become shur? So it just basically changes into shur, and then you attach the no or no. Shur no. Shur no. Shur no. That's why it's irregular. Shur no. Shur no. Shur no. Shur no. Shur no. Shurnv. That's because of the sani. Shur no me, I hear. Let's go to vocabulary once. Up, no ti. He obtains. Up, no ti. Kalilaha, mire or thicket, just like goo that you get stuck, stuck in, hard to get out of.
Kalilaha can also be a confusion.
Jed, if. Tu, but. Tr, tarati, he crosses over. He crosses the thicket, the mire of delusion. Nirvedaha, nirvedaha, indifference, neutrality. Mohaha, delusion. Shru, shrnoti, he hears. Sunoti or sunute, he presses. Also / extracts. He presses or he extracts. A common word in the Rig Veda, because they talk a lot about soma, extracting out the soma, the elixir, the knowledge. So you need to extract it out, you need to press it out.